to our council agenda for the 23rd of November. And a special welcome to Leon, our auditor, here this morning. Thanks, Leon. So the meeting's a very short one in terms of the agenda items, but we'll wait and see. But first off, apologies, we have none. We're all present, so that's easily resolved. Disclosures of members' interests. Does anyone have any? No, there's no disclosure of any members' interests. Are there any late items? No, no late items. Item 4, the confirmation of the order of the meeting. Although we only have 2 items on the agenda, my suggestion is that we swap items 5 and 6 around so that we can deal with the adoption of the annual report last. So in terms of just that minor swap, can I have a mover and seconder for that? Mike and Lou, thank you for that. All those in favour? Aye. Contrary, carried. So now we're on to item 6, which is the proposed schedule of meetings. Joe, were you? Oh, Gary, did you want to comment or go straight to Joe? Joe.
Sorry about that. Good morning. I was just having technical difficulties muting and putting my camera on. I'd like to take the report as read this morning. This is just the process of adopting a schedule of meetings for next year up until the election. It's all based on what has worked well this year. So we're proposing on rolling out the same for next year. Does anyone have any questions?
Any questions? So there's no questions. Can I? Look good, okay, yeah, Graham. Well, as Joe said, it's normal, and they're far enough out for us to work around them. So, have I got a mover and seconder for the recommendations A and B? Yep. Graham and Andrew. All those in favour?
Aye.
Contrary, carried. Thank you for that. Now we're on to item 5, the adoption of the annual report. And Gary, did you?
No, Your Worship, I'll just pass straight to Ken Morris for this one. Thank you.
Okay, Ken.
Okay, thank you, Your Worship, and good morning, councillors. Yeah, look, so in regard to item 5 on the agenda, the adoption of the annual report, as you are well aware from some email correspondence overnight, yeah, we're in the unfortunate and I guess uncomfortable position that yeah, that we cannot actually adopt the annual report today. So I guess there's a number of reasons for that. Yeah, this year's audit has been quite challenging. There's been some quite significant technical complexities around the audit, particularly in regard to infrastructural assets and in regard to a revaluation that happened. And processes in the lead up to that revaluation that resulted in a number of discovered assets, so assets that we had within our infrastructure systems that we hadn't actually previously recorded on the books but had identified, and I guess conversely, and in fact probably a more fundamental problem, a number of assets that were in our asset registers or asset components that were in our asset registers that on a data cleanse we discovered actually didn't exist or had been duplicated in our books. So quite a significant disposal of assets. In both cases, cases, in both cases, those asset issues actually being quite historic, which did make the accounting treatment quite complex. So look, that was an issue that was identified quite early in the audit. So several weeks ago. There were some delays as Audit New Zealand but basically got some advice from their technical team, and I think that got caught up in a long queue of other technical queries hitting the Wellington-based audit technical team. So some quite considerable difficulties here. But look, all the way along, we were fairly confident of meeting the deadline of today, but on Friday, Leon, due to some issues in regard to his team's capacity, indicated, look, there could be some risks with achieving this date, and look, about I believe about 3:30, 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, Leon, we had a discussion and realised that that audit just weren't in a position to give a clearance, which would enable adoption today. So look, we've had Audit and Risk Committee this morning, because of course Audit and Risk Committee has under their terms of reference must recommend through to council the adoption of the annual report. We have just a few moments ago had quite a lengthy discussion on certainly on those technical asset matters. We have had a lengthy conversation on that. We've also mapped out our way forward. A number of the Audit and Risk Committee members this morning actually had some comments on the content of the annual report. So over the next 2 or 3 days, as we finalise this, we will thread in those amendments that were recommended. And Mayor Jim, if any of the councillors on this in this meeting today, also have amendments or changes, then we do have the capacity to pick those up in the next 2 or 3 days. So that we can get in a position with audit where we do have a clearance. We will provide you with a comprehensive table of any amendments that have been made to the annual report since the documents that are on the agenda today. We will supply you with that comprehensive document with tabled information. And we will provide you with amended documents as well. So look, watch the space over the next few days. We are confident that we will be in a position for Audit and Risk Committee to reconsider the annual report next Tuesday, and for you as a council to adopt the annual report next Tuesday.
Thanks, Ken. Before I go to questions or any comments that the all councillors really want to make, I'll just go to Leon. Did you want to make a comment at this point?
Thank you, Bishop. Good morning, councillors. Yeah, no, I agree with Ken. What he said, it was quite a few technical matters that we had to work through. These took time, but I've also raised early in the year the severe auditor shortage, well, across the world, but specifically in New Zealand. We see that, and that as well as the lockdown in Waikato, where most of my team, no, all of my team are from the Hamilton office. When you are in a lockdown situation, an audit is just not efficient and it takes longer. So, that is definitely part of the problem. So my apologies, please accept my apologies for wasting your time and having for you to have another meeting. That's definitely not the way I usually operate.
Thanks, Leon, and we understand the situation the whole country's in at the moment, and in this case, us specifically. But just a question: there is no, I suppose, technical problem other than, as you say, having to have another meeting. We're still within the time constraints that we're expected to meet. Is that a fair comment?
That is a fair comment.
Yes.
Okay, you go.
So yeah, sorry, Leon. So yes, your worship. Because of the COVID situation, and in particular, the resourcing issues that Leon has just referred to. There was, like last year, a legislative change put through, which actually gives us till the 31st of December to actually adopt our annual report. We're not expecting to require that length of time. We are expecting to adopt next Tuesday. So so this audit is a lot later than we expected. It's a lot later than our normal cycle, but that was previously agreed due to resourcing difficulty on the part of audit.
Yeah. Okay. So okay. Well, that's fine. Just as long as from a community perspective, we're seen to be still compliant, as it were. Okay, any questions, particularly from the councillors and not on the audit committee, but anyone that has any comments, questions? Marcus, yep.
I'm just wondering, Ken, does there come a time where we don't have any undiscovered assets and stuff like that? Like, how often is this going to be a curveball? Like in the asset databases and stuff like that, and the reconciliation of everything?
Yeah, correct. So through your worship, Marcus, we did actually talk at length on this very precise issue at Audit Risk Committee, due to some questions from the committee members, and I think actually I see Councillor Gordon smiling, because I think he primarily asked virtually the same question as you. So look, in the note disclosure in regard to the prior period era, I do talk about a continuous improvement process. I did at Audit and Risk Committee this morning talk about the complexity of our asset databases, because in terms of roading assets, we actually have an asset register with hundreds of thousands of asset components, being very short lengths of road, and as well as being very short lengths of road, actually being multiple depth layers as well. So sub-base, base course, and then the seal at the top, obviously. So look, I cannot say that our asset registers are absolutely perfect, but what I can say is that we do have a high degree of confidence in our asset data. It is not unusual to have cleanups. There will in future be more discovered assets and more asset disposals for assets that don't exist. But look, this exercise this time round was quite sizable. So I'd be hoping that we wouldn't be facing anything of quite this extent in future. But I think it is important to recognise that that there are continuous asset improvement processes happening.
Okay.
Can I ask a question, please, Jim?
Yes, Graham.
Ken, have we been affected in this? Because we had a fair go at the assets and non-discovered assets for the last few years. Have we been affected in that particular area of finance by staff turnover, which has meant that probably the people with the familiarity have not picked up what might be required or what was missing or wasn't included? Do you see where I'm coming from? Because there's a lot of demand for auditors, so there's a lot of demand for skilled people, isn't there? Do you see that as being a little bit of the issue?
Yeah, look, through his worship, look, I don't think that's a major part of it. I mean, yes, both on the asset management side as well as in the finance team. Yes, there have certainly been staff changes, as is normal in an organisation. But look, yeah, Graham, I would suggest that this is more about the complexity and the number of asset components in our registers. Some of these adjustments that we've been made. I noted this morning. Some of them date back as far as 1947 in terms of some of the assets that we're disposing of. So look, this is a accumulation over decades that is being sorted. Yes, there would have been a lot of different staff since 1947, but this was a major cleansing process that's resulted in some of the prior period adjustments.
So can you tell me, is it a few million, or is it tens of millions, or is it not in that area?
So Graham, with reference to note 32 in the financial statements, you can see that the major adjustment was around about $17 million of disposed assets. So effectively, there's been a write down of about $17 million. That was the big number. There was also some adjustments on the other side for discovered assets as well. So reasonably significant. But I think the important thing to note is it's a cleanup over that spans a long degree of time.
So Ken, can I ask, has there been any movement up or down in that value in the last few days?
No, there hasn't. So through your worship, actually, that's a really important point to note. In terms of these late adjustments to the financial statements, what these adjustments are about is accounting treatment. In some cases, and it is about disclosure in other cases. So no, we are not. The actual assets that are, or the transactions that are happening are not any different in quantum. It's not like we've discovered a whole lot of other adjustments we need to do. It's about making sure that we're complying with the accounting rules and the various disclosure requirements in regard to that data scrub that actually happened many months ago in the lead up to our last revaluation.
Yeah, thanks very much, Ken. Thanks, Your Worship. That's all.
Thanks, Graham. Were there any other questions, Bruce?
Yeah, Your Worship. I don't know whether it's Ken or Gary, but we've got two claims against Council Erinick, page 227, and Atkinson, which has been going for, Atkinson a long time. Is there any conclusion in sight? It's over a year now, and lack of information is their only reason at the moment.
So through your worship, I'm not sure I can give any update on that. And in fact, Leon is probably listening quite closely, because in fact, if we had any developments on those in recent times, he would be saying that he would want those reflected in the annual report, and he would be quite fairly saying that. So look, I mean, both those matters are obviously still under the relevant processes they're going through, I believe that what is stated in the annual report in both regards is the latest information that we have.
So potentially this could be on our books for the next council to deal with as well, because it just seems a long, lengthy process to resolve.
That's correct. So through your worship, that is often the case with any legal claim. They do take a long time to work through the appropriate processes. But when they are resolved, obviously they will be removed from the annual report.
Thanks, Ken. I see Gary switched his mute off.
I was only going to comment in respect of the Atkinson matter, to the extent that that's now before the court. That's a significant advancement in this issue, and hopefully once we get a determination from the court, that will be the end of the matter.
Thanks, Gary. Any other comments? We get to have another chance at this next Tuesday, but the shorter that can be, the better. But if there is no further discussion, my suggestion is that we let this matter lie on the table until next Tuesday. I'm not sure whether we need a resolution to that effect, Gary.
I can jump on here.
We do.
I'll second that motion.
Sorry, so Roger's moved.
We just need to have a time. So would it be that
2 o'clock?
or I think we've got audit and risk at 2 o'clock. So it would be that that council adjourns until 3 p.m. on Tuesday, the 30th of November, 2021.
Yes, Joe, I would support that time of 3 p.m. because because I know the Audit and Risk Committee is very keen to see the letter of representation and Leon's audit opinion. So so we have adjourned to Audit and Risk Committee till 2 p.m. I think 3 p.m. next Tuesday would be an appropriate time for council to adjourn to.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Okay, so we've got a mover, Roger, and seconded Philip. And to lay on the table until the next meeting at 3 o'clock on next Tuesday. All those in favour?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary?